In Chapter 2 of my Deserts of India series, I brought you the story of the Agaryas, the salt farmers of Kutch. We delved into their lives, the hardships they face, and also found out how they are a vital part of many of us. In this chapter, the subject that my heart was so strongly set upon had finally come face to face with me. Meet the desert fox.
There's another fox that's sleeping right in front of us.
I spent time with not one but two different individuals, and my goal was to understand them firsthand to the best of my ability. Stay tuned for the glimpses of these mothers-to-be. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Kenneth Lawrence, and this is Chapter 3 of my Deserts of India series, happening entirely in the Little Rann of Kutch. After my November visit, I was scheduled to return in December, but work and other commitments only permitted me to visit in early Jan, when winter is at its coldest. Every great adventure has its set of challenges behind the scenes. The challenge this time, even before the adventure could begin, was this punctured tire. And the culprit, a broken spoke that came from a two-wheeler. Fortunately, the unfortunate event happened in the city where there were ample resources to fix it. "90 kilometers later, I was back at the Run Riders Resort in Dasada. A sense of adventure was unfolding again. This time, Aditya from Soar Excursions would be my naturalist and my source of knowledge and wisdom. Without wasting any time, we flew out on the 4x4 for our first evening safari. The team of guides from Run Riders scouted the desert a few days before my arrival and found a couple of active dens. We were on our way to one of them before the winter sun could set.
We've just entered the run, and one thing's for certain, this place is already beginning to feel like home.
Because I missed out on my December visit, I knew that capturing tender moments of courtship between mating foxes would be impossible. But I guess, c'est la vie, you can't have it all.
Aditya just saw some desert foxes in that area right there behind me, and we've positioned the gypsy in a way where we can shoot from the rear. There's an unobstructed view, and we're hoping for the little guy to come out soon. So we're not going anywhere, we're just gonna wait here. This is our first evening on the second trip.
This particular fox den has entrances that face both sunrise and sunset. We positioned ourselves outside the entrances facing the setting sun. Now it was time for my least favorite game, called waiting. This fox has built her den under the thorny vegetation in the center of the screen.
We've been circling around for a while now. It looks like the fox has gone inside its den, and we can see the openings, about 2 or 3 of them, but still no sight of the little guy. And if the sun continues going down any further, I think we'll have to look out for some other subjects just to make the most of this evening.
We moved over to the sunrise facing side of the den, and this is the main entrance. The thorny Prosopis juliflora acts as a shelter from the harsh afternoon sun as well as the chilly winter breeze. More importantly, it conceals the openings of the den from large birds of prey and prevents heavyweight mammals like the Indian wild ass and nilgai from walking over it. The sun had begun to set and we were losing crucial daylight. Sitting for a long time and staring at one single point for signs of movement can be very trying, especially because there's a high chance you might be left with nothing. But then again, there are those few instances that make every bit of waiting feel like time well spent.
So after a couple of hours of waiting, we finally got the desert fox. And it's come right outside its den, and it's curled up rather, and it's gone to bed.
She isn't just any female. She is pregnant and she is making the most of the remaining warmth before the winter night begins.
I've hit the roll button and I'm just letting it go. We'll try to get a little bit closer. The sun's gone down and it's been very hazy and foggy, and there's hardly any light. So we've gotten quite a bit closer, and it doesn't seem to mind us within this close proximity. And it's just sort of opening and shutting its eyes. There's a little bit of unsurety that it has of us. But at the same time, it's all comfortable, coiled up and dozing off. And you can see it's every now and then you can see its ears turn towards us. And it can hear me pretty well. Their ears have relaxed. Such a gorgeous little fox. A real brilliant way to start chapter 3.
With the temperature dropping by the second, moving inside the den would help her retain her body heat. She looks to either side to ensure that she isn't being watched. There's not a soul in sight. Just the way she likes it. Winter nights could be as cold as single digits. Our plan for the following morning was to visit the same den. Sitting in the open gypsy and cutting through the freezing air is a feeling that I've grown to crave for.
So we've arrived at the same fox den that we were at last evening, and I forgot the Lumix back in my room, so it's the 5D that's going to do the job until we get the Lumix back. The den is slightly elevated, which is a good thing, and we are at a bit of a height because the camera is on top of the gypsy, but from where we are, even though we are approximately 100 feet away, with the 800mm I can see straight inside the den. And last evening we got the female going back inside, and let's hope we get a frontal of her coming straight outside.
Pre-visualization is an age-old term for filmmaking and photography, and it's about envisioning a scene in a certain way and trying to execute that vision. It works best in control shooting environments or in situations where your subject is predictable. In this instance, we were working with an absolutely unpredictable subject, and I was hoping to get a frontal shot of the pregnant female exiting her den. Sometimes you get the shot you want, a lot of times you get something else, and other times you just don't get anything at all. We decided to scan the surroundings of the den to see if we could find more traces of the fox and understand her behavior better. There was eventually no sign of her, and we thought it was best to move on.
We saw a herd of nilgai, and they were a little spooked because there is a cattle farmer out here with his buffaloes. He's got them out here to graze.
Standing almost 5 feet tall at the shoulder and nearly 7 feet in length, nilgai are the largest of all antelope species found in Asia. They are endemic to the Indian subcontinent, and their maximum recorded weight crosses a whopping 300 kilograms. This is an all-male herd, and they are wandering the run in search of food and water. Mock fighting is a common occurrence amongst the boys. It readies them to one day take on the alpha. Farmers consider nilgai one of their greatest pests. Not only do the antelopes eat valuable harvest, but they also trample many crops along the way. This has led to the culling of nilgai in northern India. One such episode was made public when an adult male was buried alive. We mustn't forget that it is our species that has been overpopulating and consciously causing more environmental damage than any other. Back at the den, I found a little something.
So after shooting the nilgai, we decided to visit the fox den once more, but the light's a little harsh and it's very hazy out here, so it's not ideal for filming or photographing anything. We're about 100 meters away from the fox den, and we stumbled across an old kill of Miss Foxy. You remember the hoopoe that I showed you guys in chapter 2? These are what its feathers are. Right there.
When it comes to eating ground-dwelling birds, foxes will devour both meat and bone. Only the large feathers are discarded. In the wild, your next meal is never guaranteed. You have to make the most of your catch, big or small, especially when you're with child. Post the morning safari, it was time to transfer data, recharge the camera batteries, grab some quick lunch, and catch a little snooze. Before you know it, it's already evening and you're setting out again. In the opposite direction from den number 1 is den number 2.
Keep turning, keep turning, keep turning. Stop, 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 stop. Engine बंद कर दो. We're good to go.
This den is also excavated in elevated land. There are no trees for shelter and all the chamber openings face north. There was an adult fox resting outside the entrance. We positioned the gypsy in an angle that would help us shoot better.
There's another fox that's sleeping right in front of us. And this one isn't all that shy. She's about 50 feet away maybe. The winter sun is nice and diffused, which is giving us golden light in the late afternoon.
This den, being at a height, rendered me a near ground level shot from the vehicle itself. You're looking at another pregnant desert fox. Her mate is out hunting for her while she conserves her energy and basks in the evening sun.
So I've moved from the gypsy and I've set up my camera on the desert ground. It's super windy. Just let the camera roll and get whatever moments I can right now.
There's a commotion behind her den. She inspects it to see what it's all about. A boisterous group of Indian wild ass kick up a storm in the far distance. Just like the herd of Nilgai, these individuals are all bachelors. Fighting can be quite extreme. As for the pregnant fox, it's much safer and quieter on the inside of the den. Ignorance is the best way of dealing with noisy neighbors. All caught up in the acts of kicking and biting, the stallions don't know where to draw the line. Some of them could get fatally injured in the display of might. This male on the right has a severe gash to his head. With a little sense also knocked into him, he yields to avoid further injury.
So I've left the car and I've come walking a far distance and I'm following the herd of at least 50 wild ass. The winter sun's setting really fast and I'm going to try to get a low angle ground level shot of them against the setting sun. Oh, I need to overtake them a good bit so that when they walk ahead, they sort of intercept the sunset. Oh man, the sun is disappearing even before it reaches the horizon. That's just the winters for you. Okay, I think this should be a good spot.
we decided to go back to the den to see if the male had arrived. But there was no sign of the mating pair. The male was still out on a hunt, and he'll only return with food in the dead of night. That's if he manages to find some. Shooting in the deserts of India exposes your equipment to particles of sand, mud, and dust that are far finer than any powder. The Little Rann of Kutch also adds a dash of salt along with it. Cleaning off that debris is no fun at all, but when you have the right company, time passes sooner. In my November visit, I was only able to get a shot of the desert fox from a distance. This time in Jan, I was allowed right within its comfort zone. Forging relationships that lack verbal communication and physical touch is no easy task. But keep at it and you'll find the sweetest of fruit. These are fox pups that I'll bring you later in the series. In my next chapter, we'll explore some of the avian diversity that reside here and also keep an eye open for the mothers of winter. If you enjoyed this video, then give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Your support is going to help me build this channel and community and take it a long, long way. I'll see you in chapter 4.